Hello, and thank you so much for joining me. Today we are going to be sublimating onto a sweatshirt, similar to the one seen here. My first video, I set up my printer for sublimation, and now we're going to use it. First thing we need to remember is that in order for sublimation to be successful, the material must be polyester. You need at least 80 to 85% polyester. The one that I'm using today is actually 90% polyester, so that's going to work great. The other things we need is obviously the sublimation printer, sublimation paper. I'm using ASUB paper from Amazon. I have my laptop here because I'm going to be using Microsoft Word to print the image. And then over there in the corner, I need a source of heat transfer, so I'll be using my Easy Press. If you have a regular t-shirt press, that works also. So the first step is going to be go ahead, upload the image into Word so we can print it. Alright, so we're all set up in Microsoft Word. I opened up a blank document, and the first thing I want to do is go to Layout and change the orientation from Portrait to Landscape. That's going to give me a wider area to work with. Next, I want to bring in my images. The images I have are already saved on my computer. So I'll go to Pictures, Picture from File, and select the images that I want. I'm actually going to be using 2 images. This is the first one. Now for this first one, I need 3 of these. So I'm just going to copy it and paste 2 more. Okay. Next, I'm going to highlight these because I want to make sure they're in the middle. So I'll go ahead, highlight all 3 of them, and center the text. The next image is going to go under this, so I'll hit enter to a new line and insert the next picture. So we go to Insert, Pictures, Picture from File, and the next image that I want to put in. Okay, both of these images are in PNG, which means that there is no background. You can also make a transparent background here. If you go to picture format, there's a button here that says remove background. I don't use this. I just upload my pictures into the proper format. But for anybody who is not able to do that, or your file is a JPEG and you need to remove the background, this is the way you would do it here in Word. So this is my image. This is what I want it to look like. This is how I want it to transfer on to the sweatshirt. In order to do that, we are going to print this image to our sublimation printer. Alright, so we're ready to print. I did go ahead and power on the printer. I plugged up the loading tray in the back and the output tray in the front. I'm going to load the paper with the blank side up. You would know it's the correct side because the back has the brand's print on the back. So you want to print the blank side up. So I'll go ahead and load this paper. Head back to the laptop to start the printing. The most important thing here is to make sure that your settings are correct, so when you print, everything is printed correctly and ready to transfer onto the sweatshirt. So we'll go File, Print. First, select your printer. We are using the 2720 printer. We're going to go to Media and Quality and select your media type. The media type we're going to use is photo matte paper. That's the closest thing to the sublimation paper that we're going to get. So use photo matte paper. Go back in, go to Layout, and check off flip horizontally. Anytime you're doing any type of heat transfer, you always need to flip the images. And now we're ready to print. So I'll go ahead and press print. Alright, so the next step would be to get ready to press this onto the sweatshirt. Alright, so we're all set to press the image onto the shirt. The first step is going to be to heat up the press. I have it up to 400 degrees and we're going to be pressing it for 60 seconds. Next, I put my heat pad under the part of the sweatshirt that I'm going to be sublimating on. So I have my heat pad under there, and then I'm going to slide 2 blank pages also under the surface that I'm going to be sublimating on. These blank pages of paper is going to absorb any ink or anything that might go through. So it'll stop it from going through onto the heat pad or onto the other side of the sweatshirt. Next, I'm just going to do a general press, a blank press. That will absorb any moisture and get me a nice flat area to work with. So I'll just go ahead and put this on there for maybe about 15 seconds. Okay. It gives me a smooth area to work with. It has everything pressed, no wrinkles. So you have a good surface. Next, we're going to get the image. Now what I did was I cut the image out to take away any of the white, extra white paper that was on there. I'm going to flip it around and put it face down where I want it to be. You want to pretty much center it if that's where you want it or however you want it, but I'm going to center mine. You can measure it out if you want. I would say to measure it out to make sure you're exactly in the middle. But I'm just going to eye it right now. So that pretty much looks like where I want it to be. And I do about 3 or 4 fingers down from the collar. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of just like lining up that middle symbol with the middle of the shirt or where the shirt tag would be. Then I'm going to add some tape. And this is heat transfer tape that I'm going to be putting on here. That's just to keep the image steady while I'm pressing it to make sure it doesn't move. Sometimes when it moves, you'll get double images or shadowy images because the image moved. So I'm just going to put some heat transfer tape on this to ensure it doesn't go anywhere. This tape is heat resistant so that when you press it, it doesn't melt and it does not leave any residue on the fabric. lock that thing right in place, okay? The final thing before we press is we're going to add another piece of blank paper onto the top of the image so that, again, it doesn't, if it bleeds through, it'll be absorbed by the paper. My press is ready to go. And I'm going to satisfy it. So I'll put this over it and we're ready to press. Again, 400 degrees for 60 seconds. So I'm just going to put this on top here, give it a little pressure, and I'll press the timer. Some ink on this paper, so that's the whole reason why we put this here. I'm going to remove this, and there you have it, just as perfect as it was on the computer. Go ahead, show you guys how this came out. I'm going to take the paper from under it and the pad from under it to give you a better view of how perfect this shirt came out. This is exactly what we wanted. This is exactly how I wanted it to come out. As you can see, the fabric itself is dyed. The image is not sitting on top of the fabric, so everything is perfect. Alright, this is the end of the video. Thank you so much for joining me. If this was helpful to you, please like and share this video with others. If you have any comments about anything you saw in the video, feel free to put it below. Again, thank you for joining me, and please subscribe to my channel so you can see when I come back with more content.